Retro Hangover is supported via Patreon by listeners like you. We would especially like to thank patrons Lyle McCarnes, Tony G, Tom the Superhero, Stud Still Smash the Milkman, Raging Demon, Mast Keaton, Lucas from Game Over Hell, Ozzy Garcia, JC, Megan Caruso, Rick Firestone, Dave Jackson, Jenny E, Retro Overdrive, Soha the Emperor, Storm Beagle, Matt aka Stormageddon, Pete Ross and Van Fernal from Super Garbage Day, Randall Quiggle, Keith Gasper, the Retro Vixen, Eric Guess, Nomad from the Retro Wildlands podcast, Ash Events, Alan Bingham, Mike the Rep from Backbreaker Gaming, Ryan Player One, Alt, Low5 Alex, Renner Dreaming, Omi, Makeshift Money, and Sega Boy 7. Your continued engagement and generous donations are deeply appreciated. Welcome to The Flight, a consumable curation of champions and catastrophes that is considerate of your chronometer. It's myself, Chris Copleen, and as always, I am joined by Shane, Evil Child Dick Dragon. That's two on the nose. Nope. Celtaire.
Nope.
No.
Don't like that one.
No.
Nope.
What's wrong with it?
Those words should not be that close together.
Evil Child Dick Dragon?
Yep. All of that. Mostly the ones right in the middle.
Well, I don't know where you're going with this. I am of pure mind. I am a virgin mind. I have never thought anything impure. This is, in fact, Dick Dragon was all Shane's idea.
I'm sorry. Are we retconning now? Is that what happening? Did we come here to lie today?
My virgin ears, Shane. My virgin ears. You've corrupted me.
Well, the truth is out now.
Farce. He beats me. He beats me every day. Like the evil children that we'll be talking about today.
Hey, there it is.
The top 5 evil children. This was a tough list for me, honestly, Shane. I don't know why. It seems like most kids in video games are good, and I haven't played Fear. So there went one of the choices that would have been obvious. So I don't know if you have. We'll find out, I'm sure. But speaking of, let's just get into this list. And Shane, let's start out with your number 5.
Number 5.
All right, we're gonna kick this off with I'm not sure that it's necessarily inherently evil, but he sure is just a pain in the ass, and I don't know, something about the look on his face makes me think that he probably is, but he's sort of a victim of circumstance. But anyway, the Titanic Toddler from Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I fucking hate that guy.
Oh.
Like, he
sucks.
He's just the worst, man. Like, and I think what makes part of it, factor into this for me is that the boss encounter itself is just trash. Like, it's so bad. Like, this big fucking 40-foot giant ass baby just erratically running around this like relatively small area. You are pretty much guaranteed to get hit or die several times. And if you really take a moment to look at the expression on the baby's face, he is one smug son of a bitch, and he knows what he's doing. Like, when he tries to fucking snipe you with that oversized milk bottle, he knows what he's doing. That's intentional. And like I said, technically he is a victim of circumstance, right? Because the solar rays or fucking whatever that turned everybody into zombies and whatever, I think also kind of made him huge for reasons. But you can tell that he's enjoying it. He's relishing in the chaos, and that's why I'm gonna include him here. But he's my number 5. He's my number 5 because there are definitely more sinister chillins coming up.
Oh, okay. I'm curious for your list. I think you're gonna have a better list than me. So my list begins with the Koopalings. And why are they number 5? Because I really don't think they're evil. They're just, antagonists. But they're iconic.
They're just boring.
They
that
might
way.
be evil. Yeah. This includes Bowser Jr., by the way. I throw him in with the Koopalings, even though, whatever, kind of not. But I couldn't pick one of the Koopalings because, they're all adorable and evil, ideally. I think they're all friends, though. I think they all chill. They hang out. They do keg stands and rip bongs with Mario. I think that's what they do. And
is that canon? That's Nintendo canon.
Maybe that's what makes them evil, because they might, if anyone knows what they actually do, they might pollute, Nintendo's wholesome image.
Yeah.
You don't want anyone knowing out there that Iggy is dropping ecstasy. that could be bad. It can ruin his reputation. Voice actors in Japan get fired and then have their entire voice acting erased from games for doing drugs. So they can't have that known.
True.
So, yeah. That was a crazy story. I think it was a Yakuza game, but I don't know. But yeah, Koopalings, number 5.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, I almost had Bowser Jr. because he absolutely 100% knows what he's doing and has no regrets.
Yeah, he thinks Peach is his mom, which is disturbing.
That opens up a whole can of worms I don't want to get into.
It certainly does.
Number 4.
All right, my number 4. It depends on when you meet him, but in this particular instance, again, I think he's actually he could potentially be more of a sympathetic character, but he's also a lot more villainous. But that would be Skull Kid, specifically from Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, because you do meet him in Ocarina of Time, but in Ocarina, he's more of just sort of like a mischievous, forest pixie archetype. He's just kind of a pain in the ass, at worst. But in Majora's Mask, which I suppose is apropos for, just the general vibe of that game, the mask kind of totally corrupts him and he becomes a fairly significant antagonist and in many ways does become a true villain. Now, is that really his own will? Probably not. But that doesn't change the fact that is the outcome. So he's still a little bit further down on my list because of that. But he's one step above the giant baby. So there you go.
My number 4 is probably a little out of left field and requires you to know the game if I say this, but it's the final boss in Parasite Eve.
That's actually a good pick.
Fucked the perfect being. That entire sequence is extraordinarily irritating, and if you get touched, you die. And it's creepy in all the right ways. I mean, there's a little bit of appreciation for it. It's not entirely fleshed out. Maybe that's not the right word for it, but like the build up and the whole entire discussion of sperm samples throughout the game has a payoff, and you get to fight it. So yeah, whatever, I don't know what the name of it is. I don't even know if it has a name. Its mother died and left it nameless. Poor soul, as it's trying to kill you for no other reason other than to manipulate your mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, burning everyone alive.
That is a really good one. I didn't even think about that.
Number 3.
All right, so actually, what's funny is if you think about it, this actually kind of is a good segue. when you think about what happens in kind of both of these games. But my number 3 is Porky or Pokey from Earthbound. Dude, fuck that kid. Just straight up fuck that kid. Like, he is such an asshole from beginning to end, and it only gets worse. And like, at first he's just like, oh, he's like the neighborhood kind of like douchebag, kind of bully, sort of whatever. Like, okay, fine. But then he just takes things to the next level by the end of the game. And if you keep going in the Mother series, like, eventually he's got his own fucking cult, and like, it's a whole thing. And God, he sucks. He sucks so much. Porky sucks. And that's why he's my number 3.
He's actually my number 2. So I'll be talking about.
No, well, there you go. You can elaborate.
Yeah. My number 3 is Scissor Man from Clockwork.
Ooh, I almost had that.
So I don't know much more there is to say. It's an 8-year-old carrying a giant pair of scissors who's killing teenage girls in a house. And then you have to not only just get away from him trying to stab you, but it's a point and click game. So you just can't run like a normal video game character away from Scissor Man. You have to use a mouse pointer on a system that has a mouse, but isn't compatible with the mouse. So you have to use the D-pad. That's evil right there. That's evil incarnate. Having to use mouse controls with the D-pad. Who does that? Scissor Man does. He's like he has a name. I don't know. He's an 8-year-old child.
It's like Bobby something, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I don't care. He says giant scissors and he wants to kill you. I thought that was appropriate. I don't know what much more I have to say there. He's trying to kill Jennifer Connelly, everybody.
That's
you don't let anyone. Yes.
That's the true transgression right there.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly. Great value Jennifer Connelly because of obvious trademark, restrictions. It's totally not Jennifer Connelly.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. That he's trying to kill. Anyway, yeah, number 3, Scissor Man.
Number 2.
Alrighty. Well, we already know what your number 2 is, but
yeah.
My number 2 is going to be Alyssa from Silent Hill.
God damn it, Shane!
Well, the rest of this is going to be terribly not surprising, but that's okay, because my number 1 won't be surprising either, because you already said it like at the beginning of the show. So anyway, fucking Alyssa, because, okay, here's the thing. Like, she was at my number 1, but I swapped some things around. And the reason I did that is because if we're talking about evil children, I'm thinking about like intrinsic motivation, for their evil and things like that. Like, that's the reason why like the giant fucking baby or like Skull Kid are lower on my list, because are they kind of evil? Yeah. But are they like through and through evil? Debatable. She kind of skirts the line, but you also kind of know why it happened, right? Like, she was not inherently evil. She was driven to it, but when she gets driven to it, she goes 0 to 60. Like, she has the ability to basically change the entirety of a town and the surrounding area of Silent Hill to turn it into her own fucking nightmare scape. So like, yeah, she's pretty fucking evil, but she was driven to that point by a bunch of insane cultists. So, you got to give her, I guess, credit where it's due. So anyway, yeah, there you go. That's my number 2.
Yeah. Isn't it Alessa?
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. It is Alessa. I don't know why I wrote it. Oh, maybe that was a spell check thing. I don't know. Anyway, yes, Alessa.
I blame AI. So I guess I get to double back over to Pokey, and Shane kind of touched on everything. He's just a massive twat.
Yep.
With no redeemable factors. Even going back to the beginning of the game of Earthbound, where you just think he's just a fucking prick, an annoying prick. Because even his brother and the dog help you in combat, whereas Pokey like cowers and like rolls over for the enemy and pulls down his pants or whatever. I don't know. And then he just like becomes this dude that's in like this robotic mechanized suit helping out the big bad of the game that you have to kill with like bottle rockets or whatever. And yeah, he's a dick, man. He's just a dick. I can't think of a single redeeming quality of this character. Other than the fact he makes for a great villain, because he does. But like, yeah, he's like, I wouldn't call him, he's the perfect villain for Earthbound. I couldn't think of a better villain for that game. Like, hands down. He is, because he's such an irredeemable cunt. Yeah, Pokey is great. He is really good. And then, yeah, my number one is Alessa, just because, like, she, like, evil cultist shit. I understand there's reasons. I don't care. If her ideal world is like a ashy, torn down, random stop in West Virginia, then that's, I mean, hellscape. That's
that seemed unfairly targeted.
I feel, look, it's not their fault, but it's we love you, Randall. But like, it's I know you're going to get to your number one. I'll let you take the last one here because I already spoke on these. I can't really put into words. You already described it better than I could for Alessa as the Silent Hill nerd that you are. So just go with everything Shane said for Alessa, but meaner because it's higher up and I don't really see her as a victim of circumstance. And she's just like manipulating and torturing people, which is not good unless you like that stuff. You weird goth chicks that can have my number.
Number 1.
All right, yeah. So my number one is not terribly surprising. It's Alma Wade from Fear. And the reason that I swapped things around, because I had her at number 2, but the more I thought about it, they're very, very similar stories, I think, in a lot of ways, between Alma and Alessa, in that they are both sort of driven to this, villainy that you see in the games. Whereas Alessa, it was kind of like a cult thing. And then with Alma, it's more of like corporate, experimentation, the Armacam Corporation or whatever. She was also kind of like already born with psychic abilities, and then they just overdid it and experimented the shit out of her. And this is kind of her payback. The reason that I put her at number 1, though, is because for the most part, unlike Alessa's sort of like she kind of has the town and like the nightmare manifestations sort of do the work for her, like 99% of the time. Alma will get right the fuck into the middle of things and fuck you up personally. So that, to me, that's a differentiating factor. You will come across Alma many times over the course of Fear, and she has no qualms about showing right up and ruining your fucking day. And being like an active participant too, not just like I'm going to show you some spooky things, like showing up and then just completely disintegrating dudes in front of you, leaving nothing but like charred skulls and blood, like that kind of level. So that is why she's my number 1, because she takes things into her own hands to, fantastic and terrifying effect.
I can't wait until we play this game later this year. I've heard nothing but great ththings about it.
It's going to be so good. I'm looking forward to replaying it. It's been a while.
On my Series X, which
yes.
apparently improves the frame rate and resolution and everything.
Interesting.
Which you could probably do on a PC, but
yeah,
it's it's with the Xbox, so I can play it with a controller. The superior way to play first-person shooters.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah,
no argument from me.
Why would you argue that?
I
know that's how you feel.
It's a known.
You tell me that after we go off the air.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it is known. So there you go.
This is just the retcon episode where I get to just Retcon everything that has ever been known about you, Shane.
Finally, my new character arc begins.
Yes. We get to swap. You're going to come back and Shane's going to be like, I love Persona 4.
I mean, listen, who knows? That could happen. Yeah. Maybe I've been holding out all this time only to realize that I have been a fool. But only time will tell.
Yes. But let's wrap this one up. We got a short one for the homies this week.
We do. I think that makes up for the cog snubs. But anyway,
yes.
So there you have it. That's our top 5 evil children in video games. And actually, you mentioned this at the beginning, but it actually was fairly difficult for me to even come up with 5. There aren't that many, surprisingly.
No. Thank you, Tony G, for the topic, by the way.
Yes, thank you. He's always picking the bangers. So anyway, if you enjoyed this and you'd like to hear some more, you can do that. You can just head to our link tree. Although, truth be told, if you're already listening to this, then you have at least found the show. So you should have already seen just the absolutely burgeoning backlog of episodes that are there just awaiting your listen. So, go ahead and dive into that. But if you'd like to check out the rest of what we've got to offer, whether that happens to be our Patreon, where there's even more bonus content for as little as $1 USD a month, or the merch store to pick up a sweet shirt or maybe a sticker or something like that. It's pretty regular sales over there. So, you can probably pick up something fairly cheap too. Or maybe our socials that we kind of maybe sort of use occasionally. Or the Discord, which we definitely use far more often, and we highly recommend you jump into. So, it is free, it is open, it is public. So, there's really no reason not to, frankly. And there's also our YouTube and our Twitch, which we maybe play games on occasion. So Chris, where can people find that? What time could they perhaps see us playing games of varying quality at varying levels of skill?
So if you head on over to YouTube or Twitch in our link tree, which is like twitch.tv/retrohangover, and you go there at 9 p.m. Eastern time, you can see us playing a video game of some kind, poorly or mediocrely, or if it's Doom and Shane's playing it, apparently like a fucking god, and have interesting discussions. They haven't been as interesting as lately. You need to spruce those up. As long as we don't try to get in a conversation about capitalism and the benefits and downfalls of it. We're not an economics podcast. I know that's surprising. I know that we like to talk about it from time to time, but it does make for awkward conversations when you're trying to relate it to, trying to make a jump in Super Mario Brothers. It can be not. I mean, he does go up and down in a jump, so I guess it is appropriate. But anyway, head on over to twitch.tv/retrohangover 9 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays, and we will see you there. And also, please don't do DOS Capital either. Back to you, Shane.
Okay. Well, I suppose with all of that now having been said, until next flight,
play with your "why is that child staring at me" joysticks. That also sounded so bad.